Hello and welcome back to Knights of the Podcast. I am your host, Chris Skywalker Dohmen. And wait, what's this? You can see my ugly mug? You can see my hat? Well, yeah, here's the thing. This was the last show on the channel that was all audio. And it's like, well, we have to convert over at some point. And that way you can also see my guest's ugly mug, too. I got from Take 3 Productions, one of our staff members who runs the movie fandom show, Matthew Kearns. Dude, welcome onto the show, man. How's it going?
Well, it was going good until I was insulted from my face. You scruffy-looking nerf herder.
Hey, you can't use that word. Only we can use that word. So, obviously, you've seen this little film from 1977. It was called Battle Beyond the Stars. Did you check it out? Did you like it?
Lovely. Yeah, it was amazing, but the real thing that I checked out was 1980s like sci-fi classic Flash Gordon.
Oh my
Just
God,
so
right?
original. Just it didn't take like it didn't steal from anything, which it was just so original, and I mean the soundtrack just fits perfectly with the film.
But yeah, so and there are a couple of reasons that I brought Kearns on for the show today. A, obviously he's a huge Star Wars nut. B, we'll get into the other reason towards the end of the show, and then we also obviously we all work together, and at some point during the run of the show, I will have had every single member of Take 3 Productions on. Even if there'll be nothing to talk about, like with Evan. But hey.
Yeah, I was going to say, what are you going to talk about with Evan?
I mean, Rebels.
Well, if you bring him on right after Celebration,
That's
could work.
true. We actually do want to cover some Star Wars movie news and also do a little bit of speculation because Celebration is right around the corner. It's in 2 weeks. I'm pissed I can't go. I can't even just begin to describe how mad Kearns is. Now, there's been a lot of speculation about what's going to get dropped at Celebration, and some of it makes total sense, like a trailer for The Last Jedi.
Makes sense.
The possibility of an announcement for an Obi-Wan movie.
God, I hope so. Have Ewan McGregor not even be said he was going to be there, and have I don't care what panel, but just have the Kathleen Kennedy be talking about it, and then just
boom,
she just goes we're trying to figure out the next standalone film, but you know what? You're my only hope. And Ewan McGregor just walks out with a sign that's like, Obi-Wan Kenobi, a Star Wars story coming 2020 or something like that.
Oh my God, I would.
You imagine if that happens?
I would cry.
Except he's dressed in all his Obi-Wan Kenobi attire with the hood and everything. Oh God!
Again, I would cry.
Not gonna happen, but I hope it would.
Or maybe something we've been predicting for a while. That is the idea of getting to see Anakin Skywalker on the live-action screen again. Not Vader, but Anakin.
Yeah.
And because a certain actor is going to be at Celebration, as was revealed just a couple of days ago. Yeah. Motherfucker, now I'm pissed I can't be there.
Yeah, so am I. Good.
But
it's Hayden Christensen, for those of you who can't tell.
Yeah. Because, look, say what you will about the lines he was given in Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. Because, for the most part, fair point. And I even agree. But,
him and Luke Skywalker were my two heroes growing up. And so it pisses me off because I just would have loved to have met him, got an autograph, and just tell him and Mark Hamill what they meant to me growing up.
Amen for that one. And speaking of your experience in growing up, let's turn the conversation over to you now. Tell me, Kearns, how did you get into Star Wars?
I got into Star Wars the way a lot of kids get into Star Wars, which is their parents show it to them. I can remember the first Star Wars movie I saw was Phantom Menace, and I think I saw it just because it was new out on video. One night, my dad brought a VHS home, and me and my sisters, probably not my brother because he was only a couple months old, we sat down and we just watched it. And I don't remember watching the movie. I was 2.5. And I always remember that because my third birthday party was Phantom Menace themed because we had a banner all the plates and napkins for all Star Wars. So that's how I can remember. But the one thing I remember is, and now for the younger listeners who didn't grow up with VHS, you won't remember the slip covers that came with the VHSs. Little cardboard, crappy things that fell apart. And that's why all my Star Wars VHSs are naked. They don't have slip covers because they got destroyed over the years. But I remember it. Do you remember the Phantom Menace VHS tape?
Of
Do
course,
you
I
know
still I still
the
have it.
back? You know that small little square, like it can't be much bigger than this, of the
Yeah,
promo shot of like Darth Maul, Obi-Wan, and Qui-Gon fighting.
yeah.
I remember I just one of these things that sticks in my brain of laying in my bed with that box and just staring at that. Because again, for a 2.5-year-old, that's what I walked away from that from was, oh my God, what were those things? Because that was so cool. But I remember going to see Attack of Clones like a day or 2 days early before the premiere, which was a huge
Nice.
thing. Going to New York City, seeing that, and going into preschool the next day, or like if I'm sure it was like a Friday and so that Monday, walking in there like I was big man on campus because like all my friends, Star fans, like, hey guys, yeah, I saw the new Star Wars movie, and then Revenge of the Sith is the one I remember best because I was in third grade. I was a perfect age because it was like all the action figures, everything, all the promotional stuff, the trailers, and seeing that movie. Again, I got to see it a day early because of my dad and his connections through work. That experience, watching that lightsaber duel on the big screen, was like one of the greatest. I will never forget the experience of standing in a line dressed in my Anakin Skywalker costume, my brother and his Obi-Wan, and just
Define irony. Two brothers dressed as characters who view themselves as brothers who try to kill each other. But
it's very funny.
that so now, okay. I know where you stand on this, and if you're not scared to let your public opinion be known, prequels, love, hate, have a soft spot, where do you stand on them?
Dude, I accepted a long time ago. I am in the minority. I do not. Are we allowed to curse on this podcast?
Go for it.
I do not give a fuck. I love the prequels. Do I admit that the originals are better? Yeah, the originals are better. Do I admit that some of the dialogue is bad? Yeah, but you know what? There's some dialogue that's bad in the originals. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, the sand line sucks, but you know what's one of the lines from Leia in New Hope? Governor Tarkin, I recognized your foul stench when I was brought on board. That's a terrible line. That's Do I admit that sometimes it's a little over CGI? Sure, but you also have to, especially watching Phantom Menace, if you, again, a kid who has not grown up in the late 90s, early 2000s, who doesn't remember this, go look up Dell computers from 1990. Look at that giant box. They made the Phantom Menace and all those planets and everything with that. Give them some credit. Those were revolutionary, and I can't believe that The Matrix beat out The Phantom Menace for the Oscar for Best Visual Effects.
Yeah,
That just,
to be honest, if I couldn't give it to Star Wars, I would have given it to Stuart Little over The Matrix.
it just blows my mind. But yeah, I don't care. I love them.
No, and that's 100% fair. You guys know where I stand. I think 1 and 2 are bad movies, but I still love them. 3, I think, is actually a good movie, and I love it. But of course, the Star Wars films are my children, so naturally, I'm going to be a little bit biased. So now, outside of the films, because you and I have had some discussions about just the most obscure, deep cut characters. Let's get into that for a bit now.
Yeah, sure.
Where did you start your journey in the world of legends and canon?
The world of legends. Well, we had friends that friends of my parents that they lived kind of more towards Montauk. I live on Long Island, and so we didn't get to see them a lot. But we went to go to their house one day, and it was like a big thing because they had known my parents for a while, and they had gotten me and my siblings like gifts, like just gift bags, and I got from them. I got this sneak preview Jango Fett figure and my first ever Star Wars comic book, which was I don't remember the issue, but it was Star Wars Tales when Darth Maul fought Darth Vader. That was my
Oh my
first
God,
journey
yes.
into non-film stuff, and what a great thing to start on,
What
personally.
could you hate more than me? Myself. Ugh. Oh my
Oh,
God, it's a
that
great.
is such a great comic. Love it so much. But yeah, and so that's kind of where it started. And then, just growing up, reading the Glove of Darth Vader book series, which is a really great book series. If you've never read it, it's more geared like it's for kids. How it's written, it's not like too crazy, but the story is really good.
Okay.
Um, playing my best friend had an N64. I don't know how many times we spent on that first level of Shadows of the Empire, which is one of my favorite Star Wars games. And then growing up, and my cousin was a big computer guy and playing. I played a lot of games at his house. Obi-Wan on
Oh.
Xbox, uh, which I liked at the time because you're a big Obi-Wan fan.
Exactly.
And
I liked
you
it when
can
it first came
really,
out, but it's
it's
not
not.
a good game.
Playing Jedi Knight Power Battles on PlayStation. You know,
Yes.
um, and then of course one of the biggest things was playing. Well, not even playing, but watching him play Star Wars Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight. One of the biggest moments is just watching my cousin play this game and watching those video cutscenes that was a new Star Wars movie.
In a
And then
sense, yeah.
going home, and this was when YouTube was kind of its first thing, and somehow with the help of my sister finding someone edited all of the clips together, and it was a new Star Wars movie, and that's where Kyle Katarn kind of became an obsession of mine. And yeah, so, and then of course, as I got older, I started to read like Splinter of the Mind's Eye, which is the first ever Star Wars novel, which
Alan
is
Dean Foster,
actually really
1978.
good. Which is actually really good. And then the old Marvel comics, which is actually, again, I don't care, is my favorite run of comic books. I think they created the expanded universe, and people will make fun of stuff like, yes, there is a Green Bunny, but there's also the Dark Lady saga, one of the greatest Star Wars storylines ever written.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah,
then reading,
easily.
the Dark Horse, Star Wars Tales and all that. Just more recently, I'm reading the comic book versions of the Thrawn trilogy. So that's which is great.
Oh,
They're
you.
awesome.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Here, when I was a little baby, my first one. It's
Oh,
fantastic.
you son of a bitch.
It's
I
fantastic.
need to get my hands on that.
Yeah, it's called
Um,
Amazon. It's really easy to find, actually.
yeah,
It
no, and
is.
I'm just broke. Otherwise, Jesus Christ, you thought Case's collection looked impressive. Mine would blow us out of the water if I had the money for it. But yeah, dude, there are so many tales that I think really made the expanded universe feel real to us, which is, I'm curious to know, given how much you dived into the games, the comics, the books, and the yada yada yada, what uh, what was your reaction to when Disney bought Lucasfilm and scrapped all of that hard work?
Well, I specifically remember when I found out Disney had bought Lucasfilm. It was, any New Yorker will remember this. It was 2012, 2013, Hurricane Sandy had happened.
Yep.
Power lines down, school was closed for an extended amount of time. I remember sitting in my mom's car charging my phone, and my mom handing me the newspaper because I love to read, the movie articles and all the movie news. And there it is, picture of George Lucas next to Mickey Mouse. Disney buys Lucasfilm. Reading. they're going to be 7, 8, and 9. And I was like, oh my God, this is insane. And then you sort of go, and then Disney's like, oh yeah, but by the way, this 30 years plus stories, none of it exists. The
Oh,
first thing when I heard that was,
oh
I
no.
was like, who the hell do you think you are to take two of my favorite Star Wars characters and say they do not exist? Who are you to take one of my favorite Star Wars storylines and say it does not exist? Who knows? They may say that Shadows of the Empire, the book, is canon. We don't know at this point. God, I hope so, because that means Dash Rendar exists. But
Which reminds me, I feel like I have to ask,
Mhm.
how do you pronounce it? Caesar, Shizor, how do you pronounce it?
I always reading the book and playing the. See, the problem was I played the N64 game, which, if you know, the PC one had all the voice acting, whereas the N64 one was just stack image with text. So I could only read it. I always pronounced it Prince Zizor.
See, I did the same
I
thing.
always did Zizor.
That's what, yeah,
It
Zizor.
sounded right.
That made the most sense to me.
Yeah, it made the most sense. They really, you know what they needed in all the versions is the first thing you see the name, you know, in like a dictionary when they have the little like parentheses of like how to pronounce it. They really needed that.
They needed that bad time.
God, you guys made a soundtrack for a movie without a movie, but you didn't tell us how to pronounce this guy's name. Ah,
First world Star Wars fans problems. but um but yeah, no, I mean there's so many great elements and so many great stories that they told. But let's be honest with ourselves, there was some stink. You
yes,
know,
honest. Again, the Green Bunny from the Marvel Comics.
yes.
Pretty stupid.
The
I'll
holiday
agree with.
special kind of bad.
Well, the holiday special was already not canon, considering George Lucas said in an interview, if I had the time and money, I would take a hammer and smash every copy that exists. So I'm fairly certain that's not canon.
True,
Even before that.
but but aside from that, but transitioning over to what I like to ask every guest on this show. Be honest with me. In your humble opinion, what is the biggest FU to the fans of Star Wars?
At this point, right now, and people may make fun of me, but to me, as a big fan of this character, the biggest FU is that Luke Skywalker did not get a single line in The Force Awakens. What the hell, Disney? You couldn't give the guy a line. A line. Just personally.
No, that's you know
And I know a lot of commenters would be like, oh, well, we don't know what happened in Last Jedi. That's why I'm saying, as of right now, as a Luke Skywalker is my favorite character of anything. And to not get a line. And listen, I love the scene. I think Mark Hamill, it shows how good of an actor he is. Having said that, the only thing we heard of Luke Skywalker throughout all the time of Force Awakens is that one trailer.
and that was audio
Just
from
Jedi.
Return of the
That
Jedi.
was just exactly. It just when I watched it, I walked out saying, "God, I love that movie. That is my third favorite Star Wars film." But as I started to sit, I was like, and then when I saw it the second time, I was like, "Yeah, I really wish Luke could have had." I really go the Jeremy Johns way, which is I wish that it would have been her holding the lightsaber, Luke walking, turns around and just goes, "Force is strong in my family. I have it. My father has it," and do that whole spiel. But yes, we don't know. But as of right now, it was an FU to me.
That is
Just,
fair. That's fair enough.
especially since Mark Hamill's name is like, I think it's before Daisy Ridley's in the credits.
Yep.
I'm just saying there. Come on. And you couldn't give him a line? I would have been okay if Luke turns around, sees Rey, and goes, sup. And then credit. I would fine. That would have been something.
I don't know where. Okay, I was gonna go with a question, but I think we're gonna wrap up this part of the show with this one last question. Now,
Mhm.
because I know you're a big Legends guy, if you could bring any any story arc from Legends into current canon that Disney said, no, this isn't what happened, what would it be?
This is picking between children because it's either do I bring back Dash Rendar by saying Shao's the Empire's canon, or do I bring back Kyle Katarn and say that Dark Forces? Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm gonna say Shao's the Empire because Rogue One is my favorite Star Wars film, and that kind of debunks Dark Forces,
Which,
considering the
that
first
hurt me.
level. Yeah, which is really funny. I was watching Sam Witwer on Twitch. He played Dark Forces, and I was like, it's really funny to think that the entire plot of Rogue One is just the first level of Dark Forces. So I'm gonna say, if I could have it my way, make Dark Forces the book, comic, and game storylines canon.
Jazz
That
Empire,
would
yeah.
be my thing. Yeah, that would be my thing
Yep.
because we haven't. Disney has shown no sign of wanting to play in that period of time between Empire and Jedi, and so why not give us that great story? Which, if you go and you read that book, you play the game, you read. Well, the comic is basically just illustrated book, but I mean, you get a great villain, you get a great new hero character in Dash Rendar, who is not a second-rate Han Solo. He is his own character who has a really interesting story in the book. And you also, for Luke, you understand how he could go from where he was in Empire to the badass Jedi that just walks into Jabba's palace and is just taking out, you know, guards left and right and is doing all that stuff at the Sarlacc pit battle. You understand because you see the journey he takes in Shadows of the Empire. So
Yeah.
that's what I would bring back.
No, that's a great answer. I'm still pissed that's one of the few stories I'm still pissed that got just totally canned. I'm like, oh, god
Especially since
damn
George
it.
Lucas said that, like, he kind of considered Shadows of the Empire canon. He was like, well, if I was gonna make a movie during that time period, I would kind of make a movie like this.
Yeah, and that's a really high compliment coming from George himself. So,
Yeah.
um, but no, that's all fair and good. But now it's time to come on to what is still my favorite part of this show, a little section I like to call "Once More with Feeling." So, what Kearns and I are going to do is we're going to reenact a scene from a Star Wars book, TV, film scene, or game of his choice, and then we're going to do it one time serious, and then one time with a gimmick of whatever the hell we want to do. This part is totally off the fly. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be fun.
Uh,
Kearns, what's the scene we're doing today?
all right. I wanted to go deep cuts. I wanted to go to a deleted scene that I think should have been in the original cut of A New Hope. For anyone who owns the Blu-rays and has been lucky enough to see this scene, it is the scene between Luke and Biggs at Tashi Station. I think the acting in this scene is really good by Mark Hamill and the actor who played Biggs, who's escaped me, and it helps you to understand the character of Biggs and make you actually feel for him when he dies at the end of, A New Hope. It makes you feel for him because you see that relationship. And it's also just a great character introduction for Luke because you understand he sees his friends and where they are, and he wants to be doing that. So it's a great scene.
Yeah, it is. And just a quick correct you, the actor's name is Garrick Hagon, but
Thank you.
yeah, it's all good. And I remember him being the Undertaker in an episode of Doctor Who, which was weird. I was like, oh my god, it's Biggs. So yeah,
Thanks.
we're gonna do this scene. I've only seen it a couple of times. I have seen it more than once. I had to rewatch it this morning, and I do have the script in front of me just because it's not a scene I have memorized in
Yeah.
my head, even though I have the
I don't
entire
have it
rest of the
memorized
film.
either. I don't
So
have it memorized either. But if we're going here, so before the Star Wars films were released on iTunes, I had illegally downloaded A New Hope, and I was able to get into my iTunes. And being the tricky editor I am, I was able to edit this scene back into the film with music and sound effects for the land speeder. So I have my definitive version of Star Wars on my computer right now with this scene
the,
intact.
the Matt Kearns special edition.
No, you have no clue. So do you know the Star Wars soundboard on the stars.com?
Yep.
I was able to somehow, through some trickery and some keyboard commands, download all the sound effects to my computer so I could get the soundbite of the land speeder going. So when Luke drives away, you actually get it. I was able to get the extended version of 3PO and R2 walking the desert, and I used the beginning part of that song that didn't get used to be the intro when Luke is looking up at the battle.
Nice.
Because I'm a Star Wars nerd, and when I love a scene like this, I will take my time to edit it into the film.
All right. Well, let's hop into this scene. Do you want to take the role of Luke, or do you want to take the role of Biggs?
I will take the role of Luke.
All right. When you're ready.
All right. So I cut off my power, shut down the afterburners, and came in low on Deke's trail. I was so close. I thought I was going to fry my instruments. As it was, I busted up the Skyhopper pretty bad. Uncle Owen was pretty upset. He grounded me for the rest of the season. You should have been there. It's fantastic.
You want to take it easy there, Luke. You may be the hottest bush pilot this side of Mos Eisley, but those little Skyhoppers are dangerous. Keep it up, and one day, whammo! You're going to be nothing more than a dark spot on the downside of a canyon wall.
Look who's talking. Now that you've been around those giant starships, you're beginning to sound like my uncle. You've gotten soft in the city.
Well, I missed you, kid.
Well, things haven't been the same since you left, Biggs. It's been so quiet.
Luke, I didn't come back just to say goodbye. I shouldn't tell you this, but you're the only one I can trust. And if I don't come back, I want somebody to know.
What are you talking about?
I made some friends at the academy. When a frigate goes to one of the central systems, we're going to jump ship and join the Alliance.
Join the rebellion? Are you kidding? How?
Quiet down, will you? You got a mouth bigger than a meteor crater.
I'm sorry. I'm quiet. Listen how quiet I am. You can barely hear me.
My friend has a friend on Bestine who might help us make contact.
You're crazy. You could wander around forever trying to find them.
I know it's a long shot, but if I don't find them, I'll do what I can on my own. It's what we always talked about. Luke, I'm not going to wait for the Empire to draft me into service. The rebellion is spreading, and I want to be on the right side. The side I believe in.
And I'm stuck here.
I thought you were going to go to the academy next term. You'll get your chance to get off this rock.
Not likely. I had to cancel my application. There's been a lot of unrise among the Sand People since you left. They've even raided the outskirts of Anchorhead.
Your uncle could hold off a whole colony of Sand People with one blaster.
I know. But he's got enough vapors going to make the place pay off. He needs me just one more season. I can't leave him now.
I feel for you, Luke. You're going to have to learn what seems to be important, or what really is important. What good is all your uncle's work if it's taken over by the Empire? You know they're starting to nationalize commerce in the central systems. It won't be long before your uncle is merely a tenant, slaving for the greater glory of the Empire.
It couldn't happen here. You said yourself, the Empire won't bother with this rock.
Things always change.
I wish I was going. Are you going to be around long?
No, I'm leaving in the morning.
Then I guess I won't see you.
Maybe someday. I'll keep a lookout.
Well, I'll be at the Academy next season. After that, who knows? I won't be drafted in the Imperial Starfleet, that's for sure. Take care of yourself. You'll always be the best friend I've got.
So long, Luke. Nice. That was a lot. Nice.
Yes.
And granted, that was a very good read. You know, a nice deep cut, deleted scene, a good brotherly moment. You know, you almost have to wonder if they're gonna go full on fan fiction and start kissing or something. But
God.
But now I think it's time to do that once more.
Mm-hmm.
With feeling.
Uh-huh.
Now, what is the gimmick you would like to try for this, Kearns? What are you gonna do to spice this up?
Oh, well, I'm not going to do this. I'm actually going to get a good friend of mine. He's the head film critic at Access Hollywood.
Whoa.
He's more of a Star Trek fan. But, you know, I think, Scott, can you come in? Hi, this is Scott Mance. I'm really looking forward to doing this Star Wars read. I'm gonna try and play it like Captain Kirk.
All right, Mr. Mance, I'm glad you
No, I'm
could be
kidding.
part
I
of the
don't
show.
think I could. Mance is a really hard fan of my voice, so I'm gonna do it. Shatner, if he was cast as Luke Skywalker over Mark Hamill. For those
Oh,
of you who don't know, if you watch the T3 reactions, when I do my Scott Mans voice, there's a reason why I go silent for a little bit after I do it. That is a difficult voice to maintain. So that's why I'm going to do it as Shatner, as Luke Skywalker. I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to save you. I'm with Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
No,
Well,
no, no.
take me to him. It's almost bad when we could almost both do a William Shatner
Shatner.
impression. Okay, all right. So he's going Shatner.
Can you do a Shatner? Because I could do a Goldblum if you want to switch and you do Shatner.
But Kearns, you need to realize some people can also do a Jeff
Goldblum.
Goldblum impression, and you have to remember to
Goldblum.
do the
Goldblum.
exactly. Yeah, there it is. That's chaos
Yeah.
theory. Okay, you know what? Okay, the
There we
Shatner and
go.
Goldblum.
Shatner and Goldblum. All right.
When you're ready.
So I cut off my power, shut down the afterburners, and came in low on the Deeks trail. I was so close, I thought I was going to fry my instruments. As it was, I busted at the skyhopper pretty bad. Uncle Owen was upset. He grounded me for the rest of the season. You should have been there. It was fantastic.
Uh, 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 you you ought to take it easy, Luke. You may be the highest bush pilot this side of Mos Eisley, but those little skyhoppers are they're dangerous. Keep it up, and one day, whammo, you give me nothing more than a dark spot on the downside of a canyon wall.
Look who's talking. Now that you've been around those giant starships, you're beginning to sound like my uncle. You've gotten soft in the city.
I've missed you, kid.
Well, things haven't been the same since you left, Biggs. It's been so quiet.
Now, no, Luke. I didn't just come back to say goodbye. I shouldn't tell you this, but you're the only one I can trust. And if I don't come back, I want somebody to know.
What are you talking about?
Well, I made some friends at the academy, and when our frigate goes to one of the central systems, we're gonna jump ship and join the alliance.
Join the rebellion. Are you kidding? How?
Quiet down. You got a mouth bigger than a meteor crater.
I'm sorry. I'm quiet. Listen to how quiet I am. You can barely hear me.
But my friend has a friend on Bestine who might help us make a contact.
You're crazy. You could wander around forever trying to find them.
But I know it's a long shot. But if I don't find them, I'll do what I can on my own. It's what we always talked about, Luke. I'm not going to wait for the Empire to draft me into service. The rebellion is spreading, but I want to be on the right side, the side I believe in.
And I'm stuck here.
I thought you were going to go to the academy next term. You'll get your chance to get off this rock.
Not likely. I had to cancel my application. There has been a lot of unrest amongst the Sam people since you left. They've even raided the outskirts of Angerhead.
But your uncle could hold off a whole colony of sand people with one blaster.
I know, but he's got enough vapors going to make the place pay off. He needs me just one more season. I can't leave him now.
I feel for you, Luke. You're gonna have to learn what it means, what seems to be important, or what really is important, what's good, What good is all your uncle's work if it's taken over by the Empire? But they're starting to nationalize commerce in the central systems. It won't be long before your uncle is merely a tenant, slaving for the greater good of the Empire.
It couldn't happen here. You said yourself. The Empire won't bother with this rock.
Things always change.
I wish I was going. Are you going to be around long?
No, I'm leaving in the morning.
Then I guess I won't see you.
Maybe someday. I'll keep a lookout.
Well, I'll be at the academy next season. After that, who knows? I won't be dropped into the Imperial Starfleet. That's for sure. Take care of yourself. You'll always be the best friend I've got.
Long, Luke,
Thanks! Thanks!
That was awesome.
That was great. That was great.
Oh man, so that this has been a fun time, and yes, there's such a thing as repeat guests on the show, and I can definitely see Kearns coming back, and as we continue to dive down the rabbit hole that we started in this episode, and really then get into it. But before we go though, you have a match coming up, Kearns, in the Fan Movie Trivia Schmodown, don't you?
I suppose.
Up against Mr. Timothy Smith, who
Never heard of him. He's like gum on my shoe. I step on it, I look at it, and then I just flick it off. And it was just a mere annoyance for but a short moment. I'm kidding. He's a good guy. I've seen his match. He played well. I'm looking forward to getting back. He's a good guy. I'm glad I'm starting with a good guy and not one of these, keyboard warriors we have in our league, Not Chris Day. Whom, if you look at how records work, me and Case talked about this, if Case loses today and I beat Tim, I fight Chris in the tournament. Because I'll be 2-0. Day will be 3-1. And I believe if that's how it works out.
Well, to be fair, how that will work out is it'll be like, a March Madness kind of tournament where we have our 16, and then we had the seeds, 1 and 16, 2 and 15, yada.
Back to the match at hand.
Back to the match at hand, though.
I'm looking forward to it.
Good.
It's gonna be fun. If I lose, so what? I lose. I'm going the Jeremy Johns way of how he played in the Armageddon yesterday, which is I'm going in there to have fun. So if I lose, so what? I have fun.
Yeah. Although, if I'm being completely honest, I do. I think Tim's gonna need some help if he's gonna beat you. But I think it's gonna be a good match, no doubt. And I'm looking forward to getting that one done and over with as we get closer and closer to the tournament.
To be honest, it would be great to fight in it. I'm more just looking to watch it. I'm looking to see who gets that shot at, or unless Jono, does he have a title match before it starts?
He does have a title match beforehand. And
well, then I'm looking forward to seeing
it'll be versus the winner of Jacob and Sosland. And what say it's Jacob?
I gotta go with my boy Jacob. I gotta go with my boy Jacob in that match.
And so you think that Jacob will be our champ come tournament? Okay, all right.
I mean, I'm just supporting my boy.
Well, as
you're my boy, Blue. You're my boy.
From a good comedy that we actually can agree is a good comedy. But yeah, no, that ought to do it for this episode of Nights of the Podcast. My special guest and fellow Take 3 member Matt Kearns. Where can the good kids find you?
You can find me at Kearns_Matthew on Twitter. You can find me on my YouTube channel, MattMoves611. You can find me every other Saturday on the movie fandom show right here on Take 3. I do the Schmodown reactions every Tuesday, and I'm just around on the live show, of course, every Friday.
Yep, and you guys can find me on Twitter at my band Last Shot Redemption at LSAR Band MN. You can also find me, of course, at the Take 3 live show doing the Schmodown reactions, and of course heading up the fan movie trivia Schmodown.
You
Be
will
with
not
you.
find either one of us at Celebration, however.
Sadly, no.
Sadly.
You will find Evan there. So, no, seriously, if you see Evan at Celebration, go up and talk to him. Go say hi. May the force be with you. Always.